up your way? Hope you're having an awesome day. My name's Eric, and if you haven't watched any of the other videos, just so you know, I've been a nurse for over about a decade, and I've been traveling since 2014. And so this video is going to be about what questions to ask your recruiter specifically, but before you talk to the manager. So this would be in this instance, like you saw a post on Facebook and you're like, ooh, I like that deal. I'm going to reach out to that recruiter. This is also, maybe you have a recruiter that you've worked with in the past and they're working on submitting you to a new place, you know? And a lot of the questions that I'm going to go over here are going to also overlap in the next video with when we're talking about the questions to ask the manager. A lot of them are going to be similar, but we're going to do that two reasons. One, to make sure the recruiter knows what they're talking about, and two, to make sure what the recruiter says matches with what the manager says and vice versa. And so just to make sure that you're clear before you go into signing contracts, that you have as much confidence as you possibly can in the contract when you go to sign. So first and foremost, you got to ask for the bill rate. Now, there's going to be a lot of times where the travel agency recruiter will not tell you. And I tend to push for this. I would recommend that you push for it, just so you know how transparent they're being with their pay. Typically, like I said in other videos, you know, depending on the size of the company, how big the company is, and all that type of thing, you will expect to get, you know, 20 to 30% of the bill rate on average. So that is important to ask. You got to ask. If they tell you, well, I can't disclose that, well, they can, but there might be circumstances where their company doesn't allow them to do it, those types of things. Another important question is, have you sent other travelers there? Now, why is that important? It's because, well, they've sent them there and there might be a traveler there that's already like in there for a couple of weeks. And now you can ask more questions about like, well, hey, have you talked to that traveler? And what are they saying and how are they feeling? Because most recruiters, if you got a good one, they'll check in with you, you know, weekly. I like to check in. A lot of times I just blow them off, or I don't respond to them. And then I was like, everything's all good. But if there is something I can tell them, you know, or if they ask specifically, you know, what do you like, or would you recommend another nurse to come, that type of thing. So those things are important. So that's why asking a recruiter if you've sent other travelers there is a good sign, right? Typically, you know, places that want travelers are in need and are short staffed. So if they're looking to hire more, that means they're trying to like make it easier on the group of people that are already there. So if you come in, you just, you know, lighten the load a little bit. Block scheduling, you can ask if there's block scheduling available. A lot of times they're going to defer you to the manager, or they might be like, well, again, we have another nurse there that does have block scheduling, so it's a possibility. Those types of things. You're going to want to ask the ratios that they're experiencing, whether there's another traveler there or not. Certainly ask what the ratios are expected, so that you know when you go to talk to the manager next, to make sure they're being congruent with, at least communicating with the travel agency or the recruiter congruently. They might be, you know, blowing smoke saying it's 5 to 6, and when you get there it's 6 to 7. But at least, you know, you had two entities or two sources say the same thing, even though it's only one source because the manager says it, right? Benefits, you want to make sure you get the benefits with the agency that you're going to be with. If you need benefits or want benefits, there's you know, a whole host of things like that. Benefits are important to a lot of people. Some people, you know, don't really care about benefits because they have a third party outside of the agency, those types of things. So just make sure you're clear on the benefits that the agency offers. Another question that I find is very important is, you know, and a lot of this stuff will be gone over with the manager, but it's also important to ask, right? Like scrub color, just silly stuff like that, you know, weekend requirements, you know, do you anticipate being in a charge nurse or preceptor position? Because that's important to have in your contract, so you get compensated for doing those things. And so that's, again, those are just questions to ask the recruiter. And then we're going to ask a lot of those same questions to the manager to verify, double check. And then I'm going to make the next video about the manager, because the manager questions are a little bit different. Most of them are the same, but there's a different reason to ask for those questions, right? Because, and then when we get to the next, so we're going to talk to the manager next in the next video. And then after that, we're going to come back to contract negotiations. So you've gathered your information from the recruiter, you've gathered your information from the manager, and now we compile that information. We look some stuff up on the internet that I'm going to talk about in one of those videos. And then we're going to go into what we want our contract and dictate our contract to look like, you know, with the information that we've gathered. So I hope this video adds value. If it has added value, or if you have other questions that you would ask personally, put them in the comments below. If this has added value to you, make sure you like and subscribe, turn on the notifications to our YouTube channel, come follow us on Facebook or Instagram at Your Way. And then let's see what else we got. I think that's it. We'll see you in the next video. Hope you have an amazing day, and we'll see you next time.